up, y'all? It's Golden LaBelle doing a little informational video about Ascension. The Ascension program is basically like it's going to evolve into our own independent form of education. Like we want K through 12 schools and we want to build independent universities that we can accredit ourselves and that we can control the curriculums of, which is basically what Ascension is all about, is us being able to control the curriculums, the information that our children are learning. Because like right now, America, North, South, and Central, the Caribbean, and Africa have been completely neglecting educational curriculums that will help our children grow into becoming great leaders, entrepreneurs, critical thinkers, creators, inventors. Like right now, all our education, at least what I know for sure in America, our primary educational aspirations basically just go towards creating more docile and easily controlled consumers. You know what I mean? Like you get a job and then you just pay bills until you die. And that's your life. They don't teach you anything about civic action. They don't teach you anything about organizing. They don't teach you anything about being able to advance in life, like getting to the point where we can start creating our own real estate development, you know what I mean? Or the importance of banking, you know what I mean? They don't even teach you the history of like how the banking system in America became what it is today, because it didn't start out that way, and there's a lot of fighting throughout history. If you go all the way back like to Andrew Jackson, who fought to like get the centralized bank out of America, and then you have Abraham Lincoln, who fought him and created the greenbacks, etc., etc. Like basically, there's a lot of important parts of history that they don't teach. Also, like the facts like that the Moors, our people, were here long before the Europeans. Whether you go with the Olmecs, which is the first civilization in the Americas that are Africans, or you go with the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between who they call King Muhammad III. He was a Moorish Sultan, the Sultan of Morocco. The treaty he signed with the colonies before they could write the Constitution. But they don't teach you none of this, like the fact that those people are us. Like we're not really all slaves. I want to say like 80% of our people were here already, and they just made up like this slave ship story, 600 people on a ship that they came from Africa to here. And like one, if you do the math, because it's like a 90-day journey, they'd still be shipping people over here in order for it to equate the 11 million who are already here. You know what I mean? That, or they would have had like 5 million ships. You know, either way, both of them are totally false. And then on top of that, you have the fact that out of all of the ships, if they weren't getting food, fresh water, all of that, like all the slaves would have arrived dead on the coast, because you can't go 90 days without food and water and like hygiene and stuff like that, like disease, all kind of shit. And plus most of them were already dying trying to get over here from Europe. They was having issues faring the sea and stuff. They're not navigators of the ocean like we are, like our people are, like throughout history. But anyway, Ascension in and of itself is the idea of us being able to create our own curriculums, being able to sit down together collectively and coming up with an idea of the virtues and the values, the principles that we want to instill in our children, rather than just continuing to allow this dumbing down stupefaction of humanity that's going on through our Department of Education. And there's like, I ain't saying all teachers are bad or all schools are bad, but the public education system is bad. That's like the pipeline, what do they call it, the school to prison pipeline, especially for our people, is ridiculous. And then if you look at the amount of resources that our people are denied, and then on top of that, the education. And the way they do it is they end up drafting the best and brightest minds from our communities to go to these Ivy League schools, basically to turn their back on our people. Not necessarily turn their back, but they go to these Ivy League schools, right? They start brushing elbows with basically our enemies, the people who's been oppressing us for centuries now, and then those are the people that they end up working with and shit. So instead of actually helping us develop and enrich our communities, the system set up to like basically cherry pick the brightest minds out of our schools and draft them while sending the rest of us to prison or to minimum wage jobs. You know what I mean? They're in minimum wage with no benefits because they've been like attacking the unions for years. Then on top of that, you got teachers that's overworked and underpaid. Half of them don't have the like supplies they need for students. Textbooks and all of that is out of date. And it's like, the only way I really think we could fix it is if we decide to start educating our own children. And so the Ascension curriculum, the curriculum that we're working on developing, is going to start off as a homeschooling curriculum. We'll either use a website or some kind of app or something. And like once we get an idea of all the classes that we want to give our children and we structure it and all of that, then they'll be able to do it like a homeschooling version of it. And while we're doing that, we're going to start working on acquiring land to start building schools or buying out old schools that's been closed or whatever that are able to be refurbished. And we're going to make all of that part of Ascension. So if you have children or you want to have children and you would like to have more of a say in what your children are learning, please subscribe to eloquence.com and participate in the process, because like the whole thing is I don't want to just do everything my way. I don't want to just say this is what it should be and that's what it is. Like I want to actually get feedback from parents. I want to talk to students. I want to talk to teachers. I want to talk to everybody who has a vested interest in the future of our children and the success of our children. Let me put it that way. There's a lot of people interested in the futures of our children, but not all of them want them to be successful. So I want to get together with the ones who are working towards seeing our children achieve greater levels of success than we have. And I want us to come up with the proper curriculum, the proper structure, the proper education for our children. And so they could be everything they need to be for us to continue to thrive and to change our situation in this world. And I mean like really on a global level. Basically I'm looking at like everywhere who has been colonized by the Europeans. They've like habitually destroyed the heritage, destroyed the history, found ways to oppress, intimidate and destroy the natives or the indigenous people of the world. And in order for us to change that, like we got to unite, because they are united on a global level in their attack of us. And so until we come together, like us here in the States, our brothers in Haiti, Jamaica, Mexico, Brazil, all of Africa, like all of us basically got to start working together. And with the Ascension curriculum, the thing is that once we get it figured out, like once we come up with a system, you know what I mean, that we can use to empower our children, then we can implement it everywhere. That's why I want it to be like a website or an app or something, because then it's as simple as a download. You know what I mean? Even if it starts off as just a PDF of different books your child should read, like the Brilliance Book Club is. You know what I mean? That's something that's going to help a lot of our people. And as we grow And as we develop the Ascension curriculum, then it'll become more impactful. And then we'll be able to start building schools in our communities, like in LA or Chi-Town, New York, all throughout the West, Africa, Haiti, Jamaica, Mexico, like anywhere our people are struggling, that we can have a positive impact and be able to help them achieve greatness. That's what Ascension is made to do. It's to go in and to educate, uplift, and empower the people there. So again, if you want to be a part of this process, just subscribe to eloquence.com, and I look forward to working with y'all in the future. Go.